Welcome back to another reading and correcting of A Familiar Death. With me, Tindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. To, if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And today we are doing Chapter 11. Do you think your pad has unlocked the computer? Trembor asked in the silence. They were back to town after dropping off Round Point, and Marlot hadn't said a word the entire drive. Trembor was starting to worry. Marl? He called when his wolf didn't answer. I hope so. Marlot parked at the medical clinic before continuing. To be honest, I didn't expect the system to be this secure. Marl, are you okay? Trevor wanted to pull his wolf into his arm and comfort him, or even just take his hand, but there were people walking by the car. Marlot looked at him and forced a smile. I'm okay, I promise. It's this place. I'm trying not to let it get to me, but every time I think I manage to put something behind me, something else bounces. Got out of the car, and his next words were soft enough Tremor only barely caught them. I wonder if there was ever something good about this place. Tremor was about to reply with something comforting, but he noticed a young female wolf standing by Marlot on the sidewalk. She just stopped and stared at him. Her fur was brown instead of black, but there was something about the shape of her face, the way her ears twitched in excitement, her eyes shone, that gave Tremor an idea who she was. Marlot? She asked. His wolf spun in surprise, then he ran to her, wrapping his arm around her and spinning her. Wow! Ah, that's a lot of hers. His wolf spun in surprise, then he ran, wrapping his arm and then he ran, wrapping his arms around, wrapping her wrapping her in his arm. His wolf spun in surprise. For one thing, that's a different phrase. Then he ran, wrapping his arms around her. Okay, let's go. Wrapping her in his arms and spinning her in the air. You know what? Then he ran, wrapping her in his arms and spinning her in the air. Only took out one, but it feels better. Delia, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working? She giggled as Marlot put her down. Mother mentioned you were back, so I made sure I was sent to town to check on the medical supplies that are arriving for the commune. I've been stretching it, hoping to catch you. Marlot smirked and laughed, still as devious as always. He held her at arm's length, studying her. Are you exercising? You look like you've put on some weight. Trevor gasped. He'd never dare comment on his sister's weight. They would claw him if he did. But all Delia did was punch her brother on the shoulder lightly. You know I do. Father wouldn't let me get away with skipping it. She pushed away from him and took a pose that made the light red shirt and black pants cling to her body, enhancing her curves in a way Trevor thought men would find her fetching. This, she indicated the curves, is because Hermione likes to have something to grab when her ears reddened and she became self-conscious. You know. Marlowe blushed too. I get the picture all right. Who is this Hiramo? I'm not familiar with the name. He's from Lower Lake. He came over with his father to discuss buying some of our old equipment. We talked while they discussed while they did business. We went to Aldehere a few times and caught a few movies together. Do mother and father's do mother and father know about him? She gave him the kind of look that used to send Tremble running anytime his sister gave it to him, but Marlowe didn't move. Of course they do. They like him. Father hinted at the Bonner place to him, but Eremo didn't get it. I'm going to take him to see it next time he visits. I think it would be a perfect place for us to raise a family. Marlowe nodded pensively. Is he coming soon? I'd like to take a look at him, see what he's made of. What's his family name? She snorted. I'm not telling you. The last time I made the mistake of telling you that, you went on the net and found all sort of things I had no business knowing about. I was just looking out for you. He was having sex with half a dozen female while courting you and bragging about it. It couldn't have been any good to you. He wouldn't have been any good for you. That wasn't for you to decide, she glared at him. I didn't. You told father. Her voice was glacial. He had a right to know. That male would have ended up working for him if you'd been mated. Trevor wanted to tell Marlot to stop talking. He could see he wasn't improving his case. I would have made him stop, Dahlia said. You didn't do it for me. You did it because you didn't like him. Trevor raised his hands to placate her. All right, I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't have done it. I won't look into your current interest if you give me his family name. Trevor snickered. For an instant, he thought his wolf had finally realized how deep he'd buried himself, but no. By her expression, she saw through the ploy too. But she looked beside Marlot to Trembor. Who's that? The tone was casual, as if she hadn't realized someone was intruding on what she considered a private discussion. A discussion she was having in public. Marlot turned, his ears straight and eyes wide in surprise. Trevor canted his head at him. Had he forgotten he was there? Took a moment to get his mouth working. Dahlia, this is my partner, R.I. Trembor Goldenmane. Trembor, this is my sister, Dahlia Blackclaw. It's good to meet you, he said, but he didn't move from his side of the car. She didn't look happy to see him there. She only gave him a nod in acknowledgement. Mother said you're coming to dinner. We're going to have your favorite. I said I'd try, Marlot corrected. We have to go through Nahego's system to see if there's anyone that will point to his killer. She waved the comment aside. I thought it was the one in the cage. Who told you that? Marlot asked, ear tilted. She shrugged. I don't remember. I was at Jaylee and someone mentioned it. If he's already in the cage, what else do you have to do? This isn't how it works. We still need to show one of them did it. It is one of them. But he's in the cage. Where is he going to go? She pleaded with her eyes. Trevor looked away. Did every sister know that trick? Come on. You have to come for dinner. We're having your favorite. You've been gone for years without even a word. And you didn't call me to let me know you were here. It's almost as if you don't like us anymore. It isn't that, Marlot said defensively. I've just been busy. Look, I'll do my best to be done before dinner time, okay? She hugged him tightly. I'm so glad you're back. Mother was as your room ready, so there's no reason for you to stay in that motel. I'm not spending the night, Marlot said forcefully, his ears red as they folded back. I mean, me and Trembor have work to do. We'll be getting back to it tonight, probably late in the night. She eyed him suspiciously. You can't work after dinner. That's a time to rest. Marlot gently untangled her from him. I know, but Arleon is on my back to close this case. You know that, Lynx. If you want something, it needs to be done right now. Dahlia said something unflattering, and Marlot stared at her. Oh, don't look at me like that. You've thought the same about him often enough. Marlot sputtered for a moment. Yes, but you shouldn't be saying that. What would Mother think? His sister snorted. Who do you think I learned it from? His wolf sputtered some more. Father would spank you if he heard you say it, he tried. She shrugged. Father's claw don't scare me as much as now that I'm a grown female. She hugged Marlot again. But he's going to be angry if I don't get back and confirm everything he ordered alive. It's going to be so good for all of us to have dinner together. Sure, it will, Marlot replied, and by the bounce in her step, his sister hadn't caught the lack of enthusiasm in his voice. You watch her go for a time, then look at Trembor. Well, there's no getting out of it now. Trembor followed Marlot in the clinic, through the waiting area, and then closed the inner door, locking it. Marl, he called to his wolf, who continued walking. When Marlot turned, Trembor opened his arm. Marlot looked around nervously. It's just us. The door's locked. The others are closed. No one can see. Marlot was in his arm before he was done talking. Trembor had trouble breathing, but he didn't comment. Thank you. Iswolf finally said. I'm always here for you. Marlot sighed and released Trembor. I am not looking forward to tonight. Trembor nodded. Do you really do a background check on a male your sister was interested in? He was courting her, and he wasn't the only one. I did it on all of them. I'm her brother. I need to make sure all the males who are interested in her are worthy. And were any of them? Marlowe looked at him. You've been here long enough to get an idea what this town's like. What do you think? Trembor took his time in answering. Thinking I now get why you're so protective of Elahan. Come on, you can't tell me you haven't gone over one of your sister's bow to make sure he was good enough for her. Trembor eyed his wolf. You've met my sisters, remember? How do you think any one of them would react if I butted into their love life? Okay, but Delia isn't like them. She wasn't raised to take charge of things, so I need to look out for her. Are you sure you were part of the conversation I heard? Because it sounded to me like she was definitely in charge of it. Marlowe shrugged as they entered Nago's office. Look, let's get through it as much as this as we can before we need to get ready. We're going to want to shower and wear something clean. My parents won't go for us showing up in what we're wearing. Trembor looked down at his dusty slackened jacket before the words fully registered. Marl, are you sure I should go? From the way your sister was talking, she wasn't including me in the invitation. I don't care. I'm not dealing with this on my own. I'm going to need all the emotional support I can get. Wolf let himself fall in the chair. That bad? Marlot looked up. Marlot looked up at him, eyes pained. You have no idea. And this concludes Chapter 11 of A Familiar Death. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to listen to this book, as well as the others in this series, they are available on all major e-retailer. If you want to support me, that's on my Patreon, where you can get access to just about everything I've written. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. The links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.